Welcome to Arsenal Kids Podcast.
Hello and welcome to Arsenal Kids Podcast. My name is Madi, and today I'll be joined by my co-host Ben, and it's great to have you join us for this episode.
Yes, hello listeners. Hello Maddie, and welcome to episode number 157. And Maddie, the good news of this episode is that we can report that
North London is red.
It is indeed, and that is part of what we're going to be talking about in this episode, with our women's team scoring a 3-0 victory over Spurs at the toilet bowl looking stadium that they call home.
Sounds great, and always good to get a win over our North London rivals. And then what will we do in what will we be talking about in part 2?
In part 2, being an international break, we're going to do a player profile, and we're looking at none other than current England captain, Arsenal defender, Leah Williamson.
Sounds great to me.
And me as well. But before we get there, a quick reminder, we would love for you to help us to grow our Arsenal Kids community, so please share our podcast with others.
We would love for you to join us in this adventure together.
We would indeed. And Maddie, let's start with the starting lineup for the game at Tottenham Stadium, where the women's interim head coach Renee Slagers made a change by bringing Mariona Caldente into the starting lineup in replacement of Beth Mead.
And she made an instant impact.
Instant is for sure, as she created our opening goal by finding Alessia Russo inside the 18-yard box, and from there, our centre forward made no mistake, nestling the ball into the bottom right corner on her left foot and making the scoreline in the first minute of the game.
1-0 to Arsenal.
And then not too long after, we doubled our lead as Kim Little, who was making her 150th appearance for the Gunners in the Women's Super League alongside Leah Williamson, who we're going to be talking about later, found Frida Mornham, who had been afforded too much time and space in the penalty box. And a little bit like last midweek in Juventus and Frida, she coolly shot past the Spurs keeper to make the score 2-0 during what was a confident, convincing and clinical first half display.
We did then have our good goalkeeper to thank for keeping the scoreline intact.
Yes, Daphne Van Domselaar made an amazing save just after the half-hour point as we'd given away the ball in midfield. She tipped that ball over after it was destined for the top right corner. The following set piece led to another corner for the home side, and that in turn led to another corner. And the shot from Tottenham was on target, but too soft to trouble our goalkeeper on this occasion.
After 2 free kicks were on target but saved, we went into the half-time break.
And we had even more shots on target, with Cooney Cross teeing up McCabe, who hit another shot at the keeper, and Caitlin Ford fired wide of the post after Russo had crossed it in after what was a very neat passage of play.
And then we had a third.
Yes, Blackstenius, who had come on for Russo, almost made an instant impact after a tantalising run down the left by Katie McCabe, but she did get her goal moments later, finding the back of the net courtesy of a clever touch from Mariona. And from that position, we did enough to see out the game, and it means that the Gunners are now 4th in the Women's Super League table on 15 points, but 6 points behind current league leaders Chelsea.
Next up for the team, Ben?
Well, Maddie, we're back in Champions League action in midweek with the return of visiting Juventus to Emirates Stadium before we're going to face Aston Villa also at the Emirates on the weekend.
Okay, well, let's leave that for part 1, and we'll be right back after this for part number 2. Welcome back, Ben. And let's get straight into our player profile with Leah Williamson.
Sure thing, Maddie. And Leah Catherine Williamson, OBE, was born on the 29th of March, 1997.
Which makes her 27 years of age.
It does, and she was born in Milton Keynes and grew up in Newport Pagnell and comes from a divided family.
In what way were her family divided, Ben?
Well, Maddie, both Leah's brother and father are fans of Tottenham.
Boo, 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 Tottenham, boo.
But her mother and grandmother are lifelong fans of the Arsenal. So they are divided in that sense. but only one side, I think the right side, the Arsenal side of the family, would have had joy on the weekend. But Williamson's mother, actually, she also played football when she was younger, cutting her hair short so that she would look like a boy and be allowed to play.
But in 2006, Leah was selected as the mascot to the Arsenal men's team in a League Cup match.
And despite being on holiday at the time, her mother drove the 430-mile, that's some 740-kilometre round trip so that she could fulfil her dream. And she even got a photo with Theo Walcott. The following year, she was then a mascot for the England Lionesses and accompanied Kelly Smith, the captain at the time, and future teammate of Leah, who would later become the England captain herself. And apparently, Kelly Smith said to Leah that she needed to dream big.
But back to Leah's journey, and she started playing when she was 6.
Yes, because that is when she started dreaming big. After her coach left for Arsenal, she was invited to a few trials and was offered a place in Arsenal's Centre of Excellence in 2006 at the age of 9. From there, the rest is history, as they say, as Williamson made her senior debut the day after her 17th birthday in 2014, coming on as an 81st minute substitute in the Champions League quarter-final. She then made her Women's Super League debut in April of the same year and netted her first professional goal for the Gunners in a win away against Millwall in the League Cup. In September, she scored her first league goal against Chelsea and played in the League Cup final, which Arsenal unfortunately lost. But at the end of the 2014 season, Leah was named the League Cup Player of the Year.
The next year was when she really started to hit her stride.
That's right. At the beginning of 2015, she won the England Women's Youth Player of the Year award and then went on to sign her first professional contract with Arsenal on the 31st of March. She was also named the 2014-15 PFA Young Women's Player of the Year, and she was handed the armband to captain a match at 18 years of age, partway through a League Cup game. To make it clear, though, she isn't the current Arsenal captain, that is Kim Little, but Leah does wear the armband for the Gunners from time to time.
And she had so many honours to her name.
She does, and look, I could spend eternity reading them through, all of them, not just personal honours, but also honours for her for her team that she's won as part of her Arsenal journey. But let's focus on the journey of captain, and that was for her national team, like I said, and she was appointed that permanent England captain on the 5th of April 2022 when she went to captain the England Lionesses squad to win the European Championships, with Leah being named in the team of the tournament.
And has she played much for England, Ben?
She has 50 appearances for England, Madi, with 5 goals and 3 appearances also for Great Britain as she represented them at the Olympic Games.
And for the Gunners, Leah has played 246 times, with 150 of those in league. And she has in total scored 14 goals.
They are some good statistics from a player that truly is Arsenal through and through. And she's really starting to get back to her best as she comes into the peak performance time of her career after she suffered what was a ruptured ACL injury on the 21st of April last year.
And what is it about Leah's style of play that makes her so good, Ben?
Well, Madi Williamson has been praised by numerous people that she is so good due to her ability to regain possession for her team without having to tackle her opponents. In the Euros where England won, she completed the championships having recovered the ball 56 times and having completed 472 passes, in both cases doing so more than any other player in the tournament. But she really is the epitome of a modern-day ball-playing centre-back, as she's able to anticipate opponents' passes, but also predict her teammates' attacking runs so that she can play precise forward passes, clearly one of her strengths. She also has the highest rate of passes into the final third for a defender in the Super League. And she's had that since 2021, with one Arsenal analysis saying that she is so much better at this than everyone else that she actually affects what is now considered as average for that.
Wow, that is some impressive skills, but I think I'm better than her. And what about her as a person? Anything interesting about her, Ben?
Well, Madi, as you have on your bookshelf, she is a book author, writing both a positive guide for empowering young girls and also a fiction book called The Wonder Team and Forgotten Footballers. She also does a lot of charity work, even addressing the United Nations at the Sustainability Development Goals Summit in September of last year. And she is also an ambassador for the Willow Foundation.
A great human as well as a great player. Okay, well, let's wrap it up for this episode. Thanks again for joining us at Arsenal Kids Podcast.
Before we sign off, we want to express our gratitude for your continued support. If you haven't already, follow, like, and subscribe so you don't miss us in the future. Remember, your love for the beautiful game is what fuels our passion.
And we would love for you to spread the word about Arsenal Kids Podcast.
Yes, please share our podcast with other Arsenal kids you know and help us to grow this amazing community together.
We hope for you to join us on the pitch again soon.
Keep the spirit of the game alive, and until next time.
Well, goodbye.